Hello and welcome back to Boo Buddies. We are so happy that you are here today. My name is Noreen,
And I'm Stephanie. Welcome back to Boob Buddies.
and we're so excited today for this topic. Actually, we're always excited for every topic, right?
Everyone. Love it.
But this topic talks about intimacy, dating, and confidence after breast cancer, after that diagnosis, and after that surgery. A lot of things change, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. We come home and I think when you're diagnosed with it and you say, okay, I'm going to get a single mastectomy, a double mastectomy, lumpectomy, whatever it may be, you're just so focused on that when you get home and you forgot, I have to look in the mirror, but like, what is this going to look like?
Right. I don't even
It's
think you think
scared. You
about
don't
it when
think
you're
about it.
faced with that decision. I mean, when you hear that diagnosis of breast cancer and then you have all of the situation scenarios set out for you and you make your decision, I never thought, oh gosh, I'm going to have a mastectomy. And what is this going to mean for me feeling, with my partner
Right.
or how I'm going to feel about
My
myself?
feminine breasts are a feminine part of a woman. And that being taken away from you is something that is definitely devastating. For myself, I can only speak for myself. This for me was something that I knew I had to do. I had the breast cancer. I was 42 years old. I had two small children. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I just want to take them off. I want to move on and I'm going to. So for my husband that I had been with forever, I think since we're 19, I said to him, I said, listen, I'm getting this double mastectomy. I'm going to look different. I am your wife. What do you think about that? And his answer couldn't have been better. It was, Steph, I'm a boob man.
I'm an ass man.
I'm an ass man. Hold up. And his answer couldn't have been better. And it was, Steph, I'm an ass man. And just that made us laugh, a lot of laughter through that. And just knew I was okay. I was going to be okay. I was still going to be loved.
Right.
Because my breasts were taken off does not mean I was any less of a person.
Right.
I was still that same person. So it was a difficult time, but because I had the support, it made it a little easier for me.
And
What
I
about
think
you?
that's the biggest takeaway is communication is key. For me, my husband was always a boob guy, but he married me and I had zero boobs before the mastectomy. So he became he became an ass guy.
Man.
But the open conversation, to be honest, he was the one who was kind of pushing me to get a mastectomy for years because I was so high risk. And I think when you have support like that and when you are in a relationship that someone really loves you and loves the person you are, then that is all going to work itself out. That being said, there are a lot of relationships out there that are more physical. And that might be a huge adjustment for everyone. So what's the best way, do you think, to get through that with a partner?
Be upfront and honest. I mean, we were fortunate. We were married. We had already had our children. There are many women out there today that are very young, that are
Right.
still dating,
Right.
and they have to have a mastectomy.
Right.
And so for them, I feel like you already feel so self-conscious about how you look when you're young to begin with. Never mind now adding this stress of, now I have had a mastectomy. I have scars. I have nipple tattooing, or I don't have nipples, or I do have nipples. It's a very difficult situation. And the only thing that I can say is I had a patient come in for nipple tattooing and we were talking and she had said to me that she met a new guy. And I said, how was this? She was single. And she goes, it's fine. She goes, basically what I do, she goes, on my first date is I pull them aside and I lift up my shirt and I say, what do you think? And if they're scared, they run. She goes, and this guy looked and said, very nice, but I'm an ass man. So same as my husband. It seems to be a popular answer.
That's
So it was a good thing. And she said she knew that this guy was going to be good for her.
right.
So,
That's great. But that being said, there aren't as many people that are as bold as that, right? And the one thing I will say, let's step back for a minute. If you are in a relationship, if you are married, if you have a significant other, if this is a difficult topic for you, you definitely want to get help with how do I approach this? Because first and foremost, you take care of you. And we're talking about this down the road because the number one thing is you want to make sure that you are healthy. And honestly, I don't think people are thinking, at least I wasn't, oh my gosh, what is this going to mean for my relationship? So this might not hit you until later on. And it's okay. You have to take your time, communicate with your significant other, and let them know how you're feeling too. This is first and foremost about you. And you have to be confident in your own skin. Start doing things for yourself. You can touch it. You will have to maybe scar massages, things like that, where you're feeling more confident in touching yourself. And then you may go on to being able to, for someone else to touch it. I know for me, my husband changed my dressings in the very
Mhm.
beginning. And I was really worried about that. And I shouldn't have been
Right.
because it was my own worry. It wasn't his.
Right.
But I thought, oh my gosh, how is he looking at me right now? Because I'm just disgusting and I have dreams and I have all these incisions everywhere. So for me, that was hard. It didn't seem hard for him. And I probably should have, well, I probably did say it to him, like,
Mhm.
oh, how could you
Yeah.
look at me?
Yeah.
And basically he said, I'll do whatever I have to.
Mhm.
I love
Right.
you and I want to help you through it.
You're more than just your breasts.
Right. And hopefully that is what people experience. But I think first and foremost, as the woman going through this, is to talk about it, is to let that person know, that other person in your life, know how you're feeling and let them know you want to know what they think.
Right.
What are their
What are they
thoughts?
comfortable with?
What are they comfortable with? Right.
Right. You had a husband that was comfortable helping change. Other husbands might not be able to do that. And that's okay. Everyone's going to know their limitations. And there's plenty of people to help you. I'm sure you have a friend or girlfriend that could help you with the dressings if you don't want your husband to do it. Sometimes, though, I do feel that the husbands or the significant others want to be a part of that journey.
Right.
They want to help you. It's the way that they feel they can do something for you.
Right.
So you have that communication.
Right.
It's okay if they don't want to,
Right.
but ask them if they want to be part of it.
Yes. And if you are struggling, seeking out therapy, couples therapy, first therapy on your own to get used to your own body. And then if things aren't going well, couples therapy, because it is a big transition for everyone, especially when it comes to being close and intimate with your partner. You definitely can seek the guidance of a professional to help you through that. And so, yeah, and what's important to remember is that intimacy does not just mean sex, right? There's so much more to intimacy than that. So you can start rekindling your relationship with your partner by touching, holding hands, going on a date, right? A date night, especially after you've been through all this. And I'm sure that I know in my house, this is all we focused on. All we talked about was, surgery. And
Mhm.
if you're going through again, chemo and radiation, the process is even longer. Surgery, recovery, cancer, is it going to come back? The treatments, your life is turned upside down for months. It could be over a year. And listen, as a woman going through this, the last thing you want to even think about is being touched or being intimate. But again, that intimacy can just be that reconnection.
Right.
Let's go out on a date. Let's not talk
Get
about
dressed up and put some nice clothes on and not be the cancer patient. Not have everybody doting over me. Let's go out and have
exactly.
somebody feed me dinner and talk
Right.
to me and
Right.
know about what's going on. And
Right. And not talk to your significant other about
right.
anything medical. What's going on in your
Right.
life?
It has work.
And that's a great place to start. The other thing we have to remember is as you are comfortable, there is no timeline for intimacy, for becoming close again with your partner. It's really based on how you feel. And the other thing that we've touched upon in other episodes is the sensation part. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I definitely will. There is no sensitivity. There is no feeling there. It's very unfortunate. Even if you have a nipple sparing mastectomy, you still do not have that feeling. They may react. The nipples may react when it's cold or even if they're touched. They may react. You don't feel it. And to be honest, sometimes the feeling is not a good feeling. So whether you have nipples or you don't have nipples, if somebody is touching that area, that scar, might just feel like you just don't want it touched. You need to be honest with your partner. You need to tell them that that's not good for me. And again, they might like the new, bigger, different cleavage. That might be a big turn on, which is a great thing, but you may not want to be touched. And I feel as though many women don't think about that. They're not told that. And most women that call for me, that is the first thing I
That's what
tell
you
them.
told me.
I did, and I
Yes.
say, listen, just so you know, you're not going to have any feeling. Even if you're going to be able to keep your nipples, they will not be feeling there. And it's a big misconception. And I think that everybody needs to know that. And if anyone has ever had a scar on their body somewhere and you touch it, it's got that weird feeling. Just imagine it being in an intimate spot. Sometimes it just doesn't feel good and you might need to heal a little bit longer. Do not be afraid to tell your partner that.
Right.
You don't want them to think they're doing something wrong. You need to be open and
Yes.
honest.
Yeah. So yeah, right. Lack of sensation around the nipples. And then you bring up a good point. You have all these incisions now that can become hypersensitive. And hopefully you're going to physical therapy or your doctors have guided you on different scar massages and things like that to decrease the sense, because that can be another big issue.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times people come in and just ask me to take a look. They might have a stitch popping out, and that's what's making them uncomfortable. Scars take a long time. I've had to tell people to come back in a couple of months because their scars still were not healed and ready for tattooing yet.
Right.
So scars can take a while and they feel weird. So just be open and honest about that. Speak to your doctor, see if there's anything that can be done. But more importantly, with your partner, let them know. You don't want
Yes,
to
if
have
there's
that
something.
uncomfortable moment.
Yes, exactly. Again, it comes back to
Yeah.
communication, which I know can be very hard for
Hmm.
some people, right? So the other thing is confidence. So before you get to this point where you're feeling comfortable, all right, let's do this. You might want to do things like start, again, you've been in the patient mode, right? You probably haven't been dressing up nicely. We talked about
Hmm.
dressing up to go out on a date with your partner. But even for you, going out, buying a new shirt that you really like, that you feel comfortable in, that you feel sexy in, that
Hmm.
you feel like
Like a
you might,
woman again.
right, right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really important. Your own confidence will go a long way. And chances are your partner will just
Go
take
with
your
it.
guidance and
Hmm.
go with it.
So I do have one suggestion. If it's becoming, now is the time we're going to start to get intimate again, but you're really not quite sure about this, buy yourself a sexy bra and just ask if you can leave it on that time.
Yeah,
And then as you work through it, in the weeks to come, months to come, then maybe you'll be more comfortable taking it off. But if you're not comfortable yet, buy a sexy bra because the implants will look nice in there, but they don't have to see the scars and you don't have to feel self-conscious and be thinking about that the entire time.
right,
So you feel sexy, you have this new cleavage, but you don't need to take it off yet. So just kind of maybe that's something you might want to talk about. Say, I'm going to wear this bra, but can we just leave it on? I
yeah.
do know a couple of women that for the first couple of months, they left their bra on.
Yeah, that's a
So
very good
yeah,
suggestion. Very good
buy
suggestion.
something sexy though.
Yeah, definitely buy something sexy. So, and then we talked a little about dating, but that can be a really awkward, scenario if you are dating. And I've talked to a lot of younger women that are afraid to go on dates. They're afraid they start to like someone. Oh my gosh, what are they going to think of me? I like them. But if they see this, I don't think they're going to want me. I mean, what is your recommendation for that?
I agree. I think I would say pretty much up front. Listen, I'm a breast cancer survivor. You should be proud of that and explain to them the surgery that you've had done and maybe not your first date, but I think
I wouldn't do it first.
early, I probably wouldn't do it. I don't waste any time, but I think that it's something that the communication, and if this guy is listening to you and he's the right one, it's going to work out fine. If he's going to love you for whatever you have, whatever you don't have, it's not going to be about your breasts. If this is the right one, it's going to be a heck of a lot more than breasts that he's after. So just open communication. I really do think earlier is better.
Right,
I don't think you should wait, and then all of a sudden 6 months in go, oh, by the way,
right,
I think it's important to get it out there because that is part of you. That's part of your journey, and they're to love you with that together.
right.
They should know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. If you are in a relationship with someone and they are not happy and they're not willing to work with you and they don't see what you've been through as, a journey and, you're a stronger, you've come out of it, you're on the other side. And if they are not there to support you, this is not right.
Bye
This is
bye.
not your fault. You did not ask to have this done to you. And I have unfortunately known a few women that ended up getting a divorce, that ended up ending their relationships, even if they weren't divorced. And because that partner just wasn't supportive of them. And the worst thing, because I did know someone that really struggled with, I can't believe I did this to our relationship. And I personally think if someone makes you feel that way, not a good situation. You should never, ever, ever feel like you are less than because you had to go through a mastectomy and you had to go through chemotherapy and you lost your hair and maybe it didn't grow back the same way or
You are more than, not less than, after
ex-
going through something like that, right? I mean, you
exactly.
don't want to feel less than. You should feel like you're on top of the world. You
Yes.
conquered something that was given to you that most women, thank God, don't have to go through, and you came out of it on the other side. Don't put up with somebody who won't support you through that.
Right. And you deserve to be
Yeah.
supported. You deserve to be seen for the person that you are. You deserve to be loved, regardless of having breasts or not having breasts. And I can't say that strongly enough. And I know it's much easier said than done when you're in the situation. But at that point, that's where I would say if you're having a hard time, seek professional help. Of course, talk to your friends, talk to your family, but professional help is the best. But the biggest point is this is not because of you. You did nothing
Right.
wrong.
Less because you don't have your real
You
breasts.
are nothing less, right?
So
I mean, and your life might look different and your body's going to look different. It's going to take time to get back to yourself. And whatever that is, there's a new version of you now because of what you've been through. And no one can take that away from you or tell you that it's because of you that this isn't working out because it's not you.
and your confidence will come in time. Everybody's time is different. My timeline is not your timeline. First time I probably went out after my double mastectomy, and it was my double mastectomy was in May, so I was starting to get filled. And I think it was until August I had a little shirt on, and I remember walking through ShopRite, and I remember a guy looking like that, and I went, "Nice,
That's what you said.
nice."
Yeah.
He has no idea, but this is great. It just
Yeah.
made me feel so good. Even though at home it's made me feel so good, and my friends and my family, just going out and for a stranger to check me out in an area that I was so self-conscious of, it was good.
Yeah.
It really felt good. So your timeline is your timeline. Just because somebody recovered a little quicker than you did, it's going to happen for you. Just be confident in yourself.
Right. And it will come in time.
Yeah, it definitely will. It will. And you're not alone. There are many, many women that are going through all of this. So if you think that you don't have anybody in your circle, in your family, in your friend group, reach out. We can connect you to somebody that's going through the same thing that you're going through. So we're here for you. We're your boo buddy. We're here to answer any questions. We've both been through it. We both had a little bit of a different journey and a lot of the same journey. So if it's something that we can't answer, we know somebody that's going through the same thing that we can connect you to that will be able to guide you through that moment.
Yes, you are absolutely never alone.
No.
So this conversation might seem a little, awkward, a little difficult at times, but we wanted to bring it up because there are so many women who are feeling that way. And I think our one hope with this podcast is that women understand that they're not alone. That's our biggest thing.
Right.
You are not alone, that there are so many women out there, unfortunately, going through what you're going through. And we just talk about breast cancer, but there are so many other cancers and illnesses out there that women face this every day where they feel different. They feel like, how am I ever going to get back to a moment where I feel like I even want to be intimate? And that's a whole other story because you know what? Sometimes you just don't feel it and you might be getting pressure from your significant other. And that's a moment where you might need to talk to your doctor first about that because there's a lot that have gone on with your hormones.
Hormone.
And so there's so many areas here that we could cover, but the biggest one is you definitely are not alone.
And you
Right?
still have the ability to love and be loved.
Right.
Again, just because your breasts have been removed, you are still the same person. And that should not be changed to anybody in your
Right.
circle. But please reach out if you need some guidance, if you need somebody to talk to. We have a lot of people that we can connect you to help you get through this tough time.
Right. If we don't have the answers, we know a lot of people. We can get the answers for you. We can connect you with another woman who is similar to your situation and, in the path where you are. So to have that person could really be helpful. We talked about reaching out, of course, to your doctor if you're not having that desire, and also psychologists. And there's also groups, there's support groups.
Yep.
There's a lot of support groups out there. I do recommend really scanning them. And we have to talk about our support
Right.
group.
We want to have a little
We
support group.
definitely want
Also.
to.
We're going to get that going.
But you want to make sure that it's a space that's not full of negativity, that's full of positivity, because there is a lot of negative out there. And I think that sometimes when you're part of that type of group, you really get further inside your head. So you want to try to connect with people that are positive and can support you in a positive way.
Right.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We are your boob buddy. If you're looking for a boob buddy, you need to talk, you have a question, please reach out. If you enjoyed our show today, please share it. Please let people know who we are and what we're here to do. We're just here to help.
The scars are the stars of your journey. So always remember that there's a reason for everything that you've been through, and you are just stronger because of it. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.